Short break, we have a truly tantalising night of women's futsal ahead. Each of our title-chasing trio will be in action. The first, of course, being Western United, who start this evening 3 points from the top, have a chance to draw level with Melbourne Aku against a Carlton Heart side who currently hold the title of best of the rest. They sit in fourth. Ethan Rigg on the commentary. Tyler Lewis may be joining us at some point this evening as well. But we have two sides here who know each other beautifully well. Western United won the reverse fixture by 2-0. It was a double that was good enough and well and truly set them on their way to make the waves that they have this season. For this Heart side, they've come into an all right bit of form. However, the prior 2 weeks haven't gone their way without a win in two. And right now, their grip on fourth is being challenged. Would they love so much to go into Easter, still holding on to that coveted top four spot, of course. But for United, this is one of the weeks where it will truly turn in terms of their season, as Aku and Fitzroy also play tonight. But if they are to ever make up the ground, 3 points isn't enough. But when you have two teams who lose as rarely as those two do, 3 points all of a sudden feels more like 13. And they have plenty of work to do this evening, as Araha's trying to work something down the right-hand side. Abdul Latif. United so calculated in the way that they look to build up. It was Allerton's giveaway. Hart might be able to try and drive forward. Wilbert lost out in the end. United tried to keep it moving while Jareen had a stab. And Duong comes away with it. That's a beautiful ball to find Howard. Smashing ball down the line. Wilbert is in. Looked around El Hayek, who was off her line and did brilliantly. My word, that was lovely goalkeeping. Hart with an early chance, a first real look forward for them, and El Hayek, as so often the case this season, alert to the danger, quickly off her line, and United might be able to go with, wow, Jareen down the other end. And that one more so flashed across the face. But this match has started at a truly breakneck pace. Neither side wanting to pull any punches. They understand they've got 2 weeks off. They will be looking to make as much noise into those as possible. Of course, a bit of potential feeling in this one, as Gracie Clarkson has gone out west from Carlton. A transfer that signals United's intent for the second half of the season. They believe this is a league title they can win, as Araha looking to twist and turn her way into a fortuitous position. Abdul Latif comes away with it. Had Allerton back, but was stopped on it quickly. Eventually it makes its way to Allerton. Now Araha slipped on her feet, was in rather strongly, and Carlton Heart will have a free kick. Of course, as we mentioned, the rather scintillating Sunday in the north of Melbourne. Summer is well and truly gone, but autumn's given us a glimpse of heat in the city's north, as Western United are trying to turn the heat all the way up on Benedek, who did well initially before running out of room. And this is a side who are so unrelenting. Without Rebecca Davis, of course, this evening. However, that at the moment has not deterred them from their style. Lovely ball down the line. Wilbert looked to turn. Couldn't get by Araha the first time or the second. Chooses to go back for Benedek. Duong was wide as she looked to go inside. Araha came away with it and was met by Howard. Able to keep it. Abdul Latif just putting a lid on things. Allerton. Araha, who's drifted into that pocket of space out left. Allerton once more. Abdul Latif. Lovely ball for Wal Jareen, who tried to take it down. Touch heavy. And runs out of room, although this is positive from Western United so far. They need to take this to Carlton Heart, a team so fond of an early goal. It's rolled down the line. Wilbert had Allerton to beat. She's done a lot of work up against Araha. Could she have a foray forward? Given away to Wal Jareen. Araha. Allerton. Abdul Latif. Has two for company, uses Araha instead. Lovely ball for Wal Jareen. And United just keeping possession. Trying to work a gap in this Heart defence, which has stood strong so far. As Wal Jareen, who's come closest, had a flash across the face. Allerton for Abdul Latif, tried to flick one down the line. Duong came away with it. Wilbert was inside. It breaks instead for Benedek. Tried to clip one into the channel, but Al Hayek came out and claimed comfortably. Nobody gambled and made a run for her. Raha for Allerton, tried to give the return. But in the end, Hart relatively happy to reset. Mossman. Howard, now Benedek. Down the line for Wilbert. Legs stuck in. It's been a relatively cagey couple of minutes since those opening forays forward. Neither side looking to overcommit too heavily. That's a lovely ball to find Wilbert, who was hustled off it by Allerton. And here is Clarkson for her first involvement, comes away with it, looked to find Allerton once more. Howard put a stop to it, gave Benedek something to chase, nearly caught Waljari napping, but in the end, it has run out of room. Al Hayek rolls it short for Waljari. What can Western United work? Teasing ball down the line from Pantazopoulos. Mossman collected. Lovely ball towards Rachinos, but Al Hayek was able to claim. Pantazopoulos looked down the line again. Clarkson got a touch on it while Jarin tried to come away with it. Wilbert got a foot in, and in the end, Howard came away. It's a lovely ball in for Rachinos. Al Hayek again off her line, and that is another smashing save. Judge that to perfection in order to come off. As Hearts restart, clipped all the way out to Wilbert, who's trying to work an angle for a shot. Rolled it to Rachinos. She had a go, and that one just flashed into the side netting as Tyler Lewis joins me. Good evening, Tyler.
Hey, Ethan, how are you, mate?
Doing very well. It's a lovely night, truly, in Darabin. Such a shame that we have 2 weeks off. It will be a fortnight break after this game. It's Pantazopoulos for Allerton. That's a lovely move. Allerton has a go. And her shot's fired just wide, but Western United now starting to work some warning signs for Carlton Hart.
Very much shots galore at the moment, so each side is deciding they want to shoot early.
Clarkson. Now Waljari came away with it. Neither side having had a couple of minutes to settle him after a couple early forays forward. Now well and truly wanting to put the opening stamp on it, and Pantazopoulos might have that chance. Mossman got down and made a clever stop. Unconventional maybe, but very much needed.
It doesn't matter how you keep them out, as long as you keep them out, mate. That's pretty much the first rule of goalkeeping. Don't let the ball go into the back of the net.
It's a lovely stop. It's a pure reflex as well.
It's difficult. It's a flash. It's one of those ones that are hard to see coming across. So.
It's Al Hayek, who's also been called into a couple early saves for Clarkson. Waljari trying to turn her way inside, does very, very nicely. Tried to skip by one. Rachinos came away with it. Clarkson stuck a leg in not once but twice. Rachinos rolled it square, and Hart should have had an opener.
Yeah, Hart a bit depleted tonight. Don't have their star from last week, so, and no Reese either. So it's a bit of a small-sided Hart.
Zaraha for Clarkson, who's another loss for Carlton Hart this evening.
Yeah.
Clipped down the line.
Massive loss. Plenty of talent behind her. So she's going to take a little bit of time getting used to it. Obviously, a new system, completely different to how Hart used to play. So it's going to take her a little bit of time. So hopefully she gels well in with those Western girls, and hopefully can push them further to a title. So I think that's their plan this season. They're fighting, so they might as well try and get the most out of it. As we see, a turnover in the middle. Allerton, and that one's blocked. Good save there, getting down low for the keeper.
Mossman did well as Allerton had the game's best look. Hudart with a lovely touch. Rachinos came away with it, had two to beat, did very well. Hudart tried to give the return. Araha was aware of it, and she can gallop forward beyond one. Now has Wilbert for company. Lovely ball inside towards Clarkson, and in the end, Hart do very well. Wilbert could break away, only had Rachinos for company, found her nicely, a slip and a stumble, and she runs out of room. But obviously, with Clarkson's move to Western United as well, you said that their wish is to be a title contender. this season. Do you think maybe the pressure that comes with that is also a thing that she would be quite new to?
No, she's a pretty decent player over the time. She's going to take a little bit of time getting used to it, but like pressure, I think Grace is pretty comfortable with. Like, she just seems like the type of player to me that anytime you give her any bit of pressure, she would excel. So yeah, she like even there, like I don't know if you noticed, but in the last play, she lost the ball, but she was the furthest one back. Like she ran back. Like that's kind of pressure makes diamonds in those situations, and she kind of just excelled there.
Certainly was quickest to get back, and she's looked tidy in the first few involvements in green and black as Clarkson.
Also, Steph made the move. This is her first game back for a long time as well. She left Northern finish halfway through last season, so it's good to see her back in series futsal.
As Mossman came out and Allerton tried to have a stab at goal. Araha was the one who came away with it. Hart didn't quite get it clear, but in the end will come away with the ball. That was another massive chance. It all completely opened up for Allerton.
Western United may regret not making the most of these chances early on. Mossman's done well. The saves have been awkward, yes, but she's kept them out of the net. And Western just can't seem to put it in there at the moment. If I'd be Western right now, I'd be thinking, what do I have to do? So, as they nearly send the ball over there.
Araha nearly turned it over. Allerton does now. Hart might have an opening. Al Hayek called into her first save. And Vari's shot may not have caught it too cleanly as Abdul Latif is looking to drive forward. Clarkson had drifted inside when she wanted to play it down the line. But at the moment, I agree with what you say about potentially ruining those early missed opportunities. And you see there just how quickly it can come unstuck.
Yeah, with Hart, it's one of those things. They can score a goal out of nothing. They're a bit of an X-factor side. Like, they work really hard for the majority of the game. And then, as we see right here, nearly gets up to the end of that one, they get chances. And they create chances. They like creating counter-attacks. I'm surprised Western aren't pressing them. Hart seemed to, last week, fumble under the press. So it'd be interesting. I'm interested to see why Western aren't pressing them. Maybe because it's like a numbers on the bench, but Hart have the same amount of numbers, so they're going to get just as tired.
Maybe a later plea, the press as well. Jarin's trying to apply it now at the moment. Wilbur did beautifully to skip by 1 and 2. Araha put a stop to her venture forward. Huddart now came in to try and win it back. It became rather scrappy momentarily, but Carlton Hart will keep possession. As you mentioned, benches are touch thin this evening.
Yeah, early game always really struggle to get the teams here on time. So
as Clarkson might have a go, Mossman made the save onto the post. Araha tried to follow it in. That was a super stop. That was unbelievable from Mossman as Clarkson looked to come back and haunt Carlton Hart.
That should have gone in. Mossman, unreal. Back up on her feet, so made the second save, which he had to make, but I think these posts having that little bit of padding on them probably stopped that ball going in there. Any other goal I've seen, that probably goes in every other week. So Western definitely looked the more dangerous side. As we see Hart turn the ball over there.
It's a super save. An unbelievable stop. Another one to the collection so far this evening, and there have been a couple in there already that have been quite nice. That one genuinely outrageous as well. Jarin trying to twist and turn away around. Huddart came on the press, so it looks like Hart might be pressing higher early. United maybe saving it for later on as Araha looked to try and find Abdul Latif at the back post. And once again, it is Wilbert who comes away with it. So often in the right place. That's a lovely ball into Huddart. As two United shirts for company, skips her way by, goes round El Hayek and Araha, but in the end, it is Clarkson all the way to clear it off the line.
They hit the wire in the middle. They hit the wire in the middle. That should have been a turnover. Referees missed that one. I would have been filthy if they had scored off that if I was a Western United player, coach. Like, that would have really got me. Unfortunately, the wire in the middle, it's to do with the net because they split the courts over time. So it's something the players do have to avoid. But if it does hit the wire or the net and the referees notice it, it's meant to be a side ball from where it hits the net, as El Hayek forced to make a save down to her left there, and Clarkson wants a rest. She's worked really hard in this first period of the game, so not shocked there. She's done really well so far.
Wilbert with a nice strike. Clarkson has been energetic and made a crucial intervention to prevent Hart from going in front as Haddad had another go. It was Allerton in the way this time. Rachinos, Araha out on the press, and Carlton Hart will have to settle for a ball in from the side. But having sustained some United pressure, all of a sudden they are starting to get some of their own. Are those in blue and white at the moment? They've weathered a bit of a storm. Mossman's made some truly terrific saves.
It's been their best player so far, Mossman. Unfortunately, like, you never want to see your goalkeeper be the best player because it means they're copping a lot of shots.
It's Hart pulled back, and eventually officials decide advantage wasn't quite there. Hart will be able to have a free kick. She's made a very, very positive, very vibrant and energetic start to this game as Haddad. She's a real handful for these Western United defenders.
She did last week as well for us at Phoenix. She was really, really good at winning the ball up high. She's a solo press kind of player, so she will open up the middle if she does that, but we'll just see her have the shot here as it goes to Wilbert, and fortunately our Hyatt can pick that one up pretty easily. But she presses really high at the court. Does open up the middle doing it though. Like you'll see now, she'll probably want to chase. She didn't. She did well.
Well, Jerry now trying to turn away. That's a lovely ball for Araha, who couldn't quite turn it in. And it is yet another chance that goes begging for Western United. But wow, Jareen did wonderfully to get down the line. It was a devilish ball in across the face. And Araha couldn't turn it goalwards. El Hayek's come a long way to clean up. But once more, Western United create a golden look for the opener. And they don't have the finishing touch. It's Duong. Rachinos, lovely ball in towards Benedek, who's had a couple of nice touches. Allerton came away with it, has options left and right. Allerton goes alone, it's another super stop. Mossman flung herself across and parried away at the expense of a United corner.
Yeah, that was a really good save getting away to her left. Really hard to see that one. Had a player in front of him. As Allerton's going to have another crack. Now it's going to fall to Balkis, and Colbert does really well getting out to that and putting Jaron under a lot of pressure there. Causes a turnover. Sinos tries to switch the ball, but this one's going to end up in a turnover. Araha brings it back to Jaron and can go to Allerton, and they'll play here. They'll play from here. Jaron
back with Araha. Allerton. United have such good operators on court. Zaraha thought about a go for a moment, then stumbled over it. Rachinos got the press in. Hearts have been really good in those opening stages of picking up on the loose touch as well. But whenever United have shown maybe a little bit of uncertainty in going forward or a little bit of uncertainty in their next move, they've been all over it.
Yeah, and that's it. Like, Heart are a very good team at doing that. Like, so I'm not shocked. That's the way they're kind of playing. That's the way that Reese has kind of taught them to do it. So they're doing really well. Like, this season's been really, really well. Like, this has probably been their best season for a few seasons. They've done well this season. Have to give credit where it's due, and unfortunately, as much as what their competitors, they have done really well this season.
They certainly have. Currently sitting fourth in the table. Maybe not so much in the title picture, but definitely having a season of promise and something to build on is Duong for Howard. And Heart, to their credit, have caused United a fair share of problems. We talk about how this team are going for the title, and they sit just to win outside. But at the moment, those in blue and white are turning this into a proper arm wrestle. Very
understrength United team, though. No Beck Davies, no Claudia Damasi, no Larusa Verratti. Like, the players they brought in, there's no one here right now. So whether they had other commitments or whatever, like, it doesn't matter. You can only play who's in front of you, but that probably gives some indication why Heart are so dominant right now. Well, keeping so much in the game right now, because Beck Davies led Western United, or Beck Davies close to Allison, Western United team, I think really would put Heart to the sword the way they're playing right now.
As well, Jarin. Fell Hayek. The ball wide for Allerton. A lot's gone through her so far, as well as Araha, who's currently out. Allerton looks to have a go. Mossman gets down smartly and makes another nice save. It's quick to go, and it's a nice ball as well. They try and work it well. Well, Jarin stuck herself in the way as Benedek looked to thread one through. It was the right idea. And although we've seen their ability as well to build up in possession, that was a more direct approach.
Hart are a more direct team that they prefer to play the direct ball. They like to use their targets. Well, formerly Gracie Clarkson. They've got Kobe Wilbert, like very, very, very good targets that like to hold the ball up, and that's the way Hart like to play. Unfortunately, they don't really have a lot of those options because Wilbert's going to be forced to play in a different position today, and no Gracie Clarkson anymore, obviously. But that will be the thing for Hart moving forward, is if they can keep their players. You've already seen Clarkson want to move, so what will happen?
Talent is undeniable as Abdul Latif is driving down the line. Chooses to go back to Allerton. That's a lovely ball to find Clarkson, who couldn't quite roll it back to Abdul Latif. But with this Hart side, you mentioned that the talent they've had. We've seen, obviously, Wilbert's had a bright start, although she's been deployed probably deeper than she would like so far. Has had a lot of involvement, has looked to be creative, has looked to burst away on the break as often as possible. That's a lovely ball inside to Howard. They try and work it back to each other.
Howard's been very good this season as well. Very, very good this season. Stands up when she needs to. Like, she's a real leader out there on the court. You can hear it when you're coaching against her. It's like, she's a really, really good leader.
It's a good mix for this Hart side, and they find themselves in impressive territory. It's a lovely ball down the line for Allerton. Cut out by Wilbert, who skipped away beyond Araha. Rolled it for Duong, who sold it short. Allerton is through and blazes over.
All right, she's tried to go under the keeper. She's tried to go over the keeper. Now she's got to try to go around the keeper. It's the only way she's going to score right now.
A golden opportunity again. United so very easily could have had an early double. It opened up so invitingly for Allerton, who, as Tyler mentioned, has tried to go under, tried to go over. Currently without success. But the warning signs are there. They are knocking on the door as Araha. Back with Allerton, this Hart press broken very easily. Allerton does well to skip by two. Couldn't find a way past Benedak. Wilbert comes away with it. Skips beyond Araha, who's stuck a leg out. And in the end, the Hart will settle for a corner.
Hasn't played a great game yet, Raha. Like, being very shaky on the ball. I'm sure like it will change in the second half. Amanda's that kind of player. Where when she's not playing at her best, she will turn around and do something. As Wesley United are about to call a timeout. Thanks, Sully. Appreciate that one. But yeah, so hopefully Amanda can turn it around, because she's been losing the ball a little bit in the middle and just kind of lunging into things where she doesn't need to.
Western United will get that timeout. They've had the best of the chances in a cagey affair so far. We don't have a first goal and we don't have a broken deadlock. It is 0-0 at the timeout break.
The group. The group is the key of success. If you don't have a union group, you can win some matches, you can win some tournaments, but finally you don't win the World Cup, or you don't win the European Championship. You need a strong group, and everybody go in the same direction. The futsal is totally different than in Europe or in other countries. I think there are good levels here in Australia. There are good players, so they have to work hard at, and maybe in the future Australia is in the top.
As we look to return from a timeout break. No deadlock breaker yet. It is 0-0. Two sides that have been defensively determined, chances which have been squandered, but some good futsal being played. Maybe a touch cagey as well, would you say, Tyler? I mean, there's been opportunities at both ends, but as you had alluded to before half-time, some of the big names are just feeling their way into this one.
Yeah, Amanda's going to take a little bit of time coming into it. Like, again, Gracie and Steph coming into a team, like, it takes time for them to come around as we go straight into half-time. So these Western United girls basically pretty much a new team. You saw it at the start of the season when they brought in Beck and Dim and all these kind of players. It did take a little bit of a while for them to gel. It's going to be the same thing.
At half-time, we've seen a couple of glimpses of what it looks like when it all comes together for Western United, but they have been frustrated by a determined Hearts side in defence who have looked to spring on the break as often as possible. When we come back on the other side of the half-time break, this game may truly find its opener as it is Western United 0, Carlton Heart 0.
Halo, salam olahraga untuk seluruh pencinta futsal di Indonesia. Kami dari Moreland Futsal Club dan Series Futsal akan mengadakan giveaway di mana akan dipilih 15 pemenang. Masing-masing pemenang akan mendapatkan satu jersey original dari Moreland Futsal Club. Syaratnya sangat gampang, langsung saja follow akun Instagram ini dan akan dipilih selama 5 hari ke depan. Jadi tunggu apa lagi? Let's go!
I grew up with low self-esteem. It was me and my mama, just us in the trauma. Hands up if you know what I mean. I see you, I feel you. I want you to know that you're not alone. I know what it's like not to have a home. Feel like I live in the end zone. I'm the one leading the drives. The crew riding round in a Benzo. Red I'm in charge of my own fate. Left the excuses behind. Now I'm the illest violinist alive. I took the pain and I thrive, but look at me now.
A good futsal player has to be intelligent. It's the most important quality in a futsal player because in futsal play is very fast, and you have to think really fast. You don't have time, you don't have a space. They have to enjoy the game. This finally futsal or football or basketball or tennis, it's only a game, so they have to enjoy. If they don't enjoy the game, they don't improve. No? They know that.
So we're back from half-time here in Darabin of the opening game of Series Futsal Women's Round 10. And at the moment, it is 0-0 between Western United and Carlton Heart. Both sides have had a couple of looks. United certainly with the better chances as they got into their groove after a cagey opening 5 or 10 minutes. Heart, though, resilient in defence and might be looking to have an early goal to start this second half. Huddered trying to turn away by Abdul Latif, rolled it round the outside, and in the end, it will all come to nothing. But it was a good start, and they tried to catch United out of the traps. Ethan Rigg and Tyler Lewis. Tyler, what would you make of that first half?
Definitely a cagey affair. Western United turned the ball over in places they didn't want to turn the ball over. Same story with Hart. Hart turned the ball over a lot in the middle up high. So Western United have definitely had the better chances. Unfortunately, Allerton's missed, Mossman saved 2 or 3 shots from Allerton, which could have gone in on a different night. So interesting game this one is. It would be interesting to see if Hart could take points away from Western. I guarantee the two sides above Western at the moment are hoping Hart do, but not many teams below. As we see Abdelatif have a toe poke there as Mossman gets down really low, makes an incredible save to her left. That's a really hard one to make on that split, so Western United now will have the corner.
There's a top save again from Mossman, who's made more than one of those so far this evening. Been the busier of the two keepers, but has got down beautifully and does again. That's a brilliant save. Not once but twice, she flew across to her right, came through a pack of bodies. That was another top stop. I don't think she saw that until a little bit later than it was released. But United will have it with Allerton from the side. It's rolled out to Araha. Those two link up once more. Allerton try the drive this time, fading away at the near post.
Trying to find Abdelatif there at the near post so she could play it back. Unfortunately, the passer just had a bit too much on it. I would hazard a guess and say that's meant to be a shot that Abdelatif can get on the end of, but unfortunately just not on the same page, and that's what we found a lot with Western this game. They're just not on the same page as much as what we normally see them.
Allerton for Abdul Latif. Lovely return down the line. There was a slide well from Howard. Allerton looked to get through, but ran out of room in the process. And that's been the real turning point in this at the moment, I would say, as to why the deadlock hasn't been broken. Those last-ditch defensive efforts, saw it there from Howard. And, of course, in the first half, Clarkson made a block at the other end. It's been two teams which haven't switched off defensively, have been compact in their shape, but also have been in the right place at the right time in order to stifle the other. Because they understand each other so well, it does allow them, you would almost say, just to be able to almost read the opposition.
Yeah, and that's a lot to do with futsal, especially in the defensive side. You're reading the players. You're reading what you believe is going to happen. You'll find that players, especially in the men's game, Adam Cooper doesn't run. He doesn't have to because he's always in the right spot. There's a lot of players like this in this way. Clarissa Allerton doesn't have to bust a gut every single time because she's generally in the right space because she's such a smart player. And you're finding it with Howard as well. Howard's getting to that point for hard. Like there are a lot of players in this league that has grown in terms of their experience, their knowledge. They're doing really well. This league's grown a hell of a lot in the last 3 years.
As well, Jareen trying to tiptoe away inside. Abdul Latif dummied for Allerton. Had Wilbert Tabidu stuck a leg out nicely and relieved some more of that pressure for the time being. United, with a couple of loose touches, hasn't been their cleanest performance so far. And as Tyler has mentioned, Aku and Fitzroy will be hoping that Hearts can continue the parity, could hopefully take it all the way to the end, if not snatch something for themselves, as they, despite being 3 and 2 points ahead of United, would rather have it a two-horse race than 3. As well, Jareen tried to find Araha. Time isn't quite just a factor yet, but you sense if there goes another 5 minutes without an opening goal, will that desperation and that frustration start to play a part and kick in?
No, I don't think it will, because especially for Western, they had games earlier in the season where they were tied late on, and then they'd come back and score 1 or 2. The only difference is Beck Davies was part of those wins. She's not here tonight.
Might be the late charge for United as well. Jareen was looked to be found by Abdul Latif's ball down the line. But once again, it was a touch forced as they've played it around with some lovely combinations.
Also, I think with the going back to the will they panic late on, I don't think so. Elias has got a lot of experience. I think this is one of Beck's first coaching. Obviously, no Reese tonight, so that might make a difference as well, especially late on in terms of the tactical side of the game. Elias has only been with this team for the last couple of seasons, so you might find...
It's usually Howard who occupies that role as an anchor or a sweeper.
Yeah, and that's fine in doing that. She will open up a gap doing it, though, like if she drops back too far. The last thing you want to do when you're defending and just holding in your diamond up at halfway is drop. You kind of want to keep your height because it forces Western to go back. But the more she drops, the more space Western will have to be able to create their own chances.
It's Allerton. They look to create something there, but Howard in the right place at the right time. Araha looking to have a go. Mossman held steadily, wasn't tested too much by Araha's effort. Rolls it for Benedek, who's pressed by Clarkson, and United have their opener. Comes back to haunt Carlton Hearts, does Gracie Clarkson, and it was a truly lovely finish to beat Mossman.
Yeah, at the end of the day, you turn the ball over at the top of the D, like not much keeper can do. She did well to try and get out to it, but Grace Clarkson, too much class there, and just puts it into the top right corner.
Tucked it away with the tidiest of finishes, and how United will have longed for that goal. They've spent time and time trying to break Carlton Heart down, and finally something has come to fruition in the form of the most clinical Clarkson hits. As Heart are trying to find themselves an equaliser. Benedek came away with it, twisting and turning away inside. Two Western shirts couldn't stop her. Benedek and El Hayek off her line rapidly to make a brilliant and crucial save.
Yeah, hard thing for a keeper. She hasn't been massively involved in the game. She's had to come out and make saves when she as required, but it's been it's been a long time between saves. So like to come out and do that and to stay switched on the entire game is very hard. So she's doing well. All credit to Lara there.
There's Mossman, who's been, and Hart tried to break down the line. Wilbert couldn't wriggle away beyond Allerton.
If Hart score, I believe it's probably going to come from Benedek. She's been really good. She's really classy with the feet. She's a very technical player, so it'll be interesting. But as she's going to get a shot away here, Hyatt comes out really, really strong and wins that ball back. So, like, I do believe it will come from Benedek if Hart are to score. But I don't know if you're getting past Lara today. She's done a really, really good job in goal so far.
Here is Benedek once more. Back for Rachinos. Wilbert, Benedek looked to find somebody, gave it only away to Allerton, who's driving. It is Allerton. And Howard got in the right place at the right time. But one of the big differences between these keepers, Mossman's shot stopping has been excellent as she's nearly called into action again. Whereas the chances El Hayek's had to face, she's been allowed to come and close that angle quickly, but it's that judgment and that fearlessness in coming off her line that has been the biggest difference, almost to smother it, whereas Mossman's been happier to see the shot all the way and then parry if needed.
Difference between the games, like difference between the teams is the play though. As we see Howard go on a break here, she can't get past Jaron, who does really well there to put that one out. Sorry, just back to the point on the keepers. Western have had more longer shots, allowed her to sit back. Every time Hart get the ball up, it's been around the D. That's the difference in the shot stopping, so to speak. If Hart were having the same shots that Western were, El Hayek would just be able to sit back down the line. And maybe they should have. We did see a few weeks ago El Hayek cop a goal against Liz from over halfway in the Fitzroy game. I don't know if she's been happy with facing the long shots, but she's definitely a keeper that loves those in close block saves, so to speak.
And you can tell that from the judgment as well. The ability to come off her line in a split second, but do it with so much authority. She really is a keeper that when it comes to it, commands her area very, very well. You do mention a potential vulnerability from long range, and maybe Hart should start exploiting it now or might later if those opportunities open up for them. As Benedek, that's a lovely ball. Rachinos couldn't get past Pantazopoulos, who did beautifully to make a strong challenge. Wilbert at her back now, and she comes away with it. Rachinos has stayed down, so Wilbert will have to go alone and can't trickle her way past El Hayek once more, who made another super stop, coming out and commanding with confidence. While Jareen for Allerton, it may open up for Allerton, rolls it for Abdul Latif. That is a wonderful Western United second on the break. And Abdul Latif with the coolest of chips to double their advantage.
Yeah, that was a great finish there. Again, we've seen Mossman come out and want to slide out with her knees. It's opened up that space over the top. They've decided that going over is the right way to do it. But in saying that, Racino's got hurt there. Didn't work her way off. She decided that she wanted to stay up there and hands on haunches. And then Wilbert is obviously a bit tired. She didn't struggle to get back there. Created the 3-on-2, allowed Western to get an easy shot away. It's kind of poor there from Hart, that especially a team that prides themselves on their work ethic. Right there, it just was not there.
Caught in transition. Well and truly, but they may be able to find themselves a way back into it. Wilbert with a lovely ball. Huddard had an effort. El Hayek once more off her line. Huddard's trying to skip away beyond Allerton. Nothing was doing. But Hart have a corner with just under 12.5 minutes remaining. They need a way back into this game. Allerton with a clearance. Duong happy to see it out of play. But right now, they're 2 goals down and they haven't necessarily played all that badly. Carlton Heart, they've had a couple of looks. El Hayek's made a couple of imperious stops. As Huddart Hills were clipped by Araha.
10 minutes still to go. Plenty of time for Hart to come back into this game. So, but we have a free kick here. No timeout used from Hart though either. Interesting. Yeah, I feel like if Reese was here, they probably would have used a timeout to create something. Maybe especially after the second goal, I think Reese would have called the timeout, try to get them to refresh, reset. But yeah, maybe inexperience here from the the management of the night.
Mossman was found and couldn't quite get the ball out to Wilbert.
Decided to take that one first touch. Should have taken the touch. Should have been able to lay the pass a lot better.
But also just on that timeout too, do you think it maybe is being saved for later in the hope that they do get a goal back and find themselves in a situation where they're one away from an equaliser, or if they find a way to get level, one away from taking the lead?
It's probably what they're thinking, but at the end of the day, you normally try and keep... most teams will keep their timeout if they're one goal down, but if they concede two in a relatively short period of time, obviously something's not right. Is it just tiredness? Do they need a break? They didn't use it in the first half either. Again, limited numbers. Do you not just want to give them an extra 2 minutes break, give them a bit of a message, especially in the first half when that's when they've done most of their running?
Exactly, and it is all about saving those legs in the smallest way possible, especially when it's a warm evening too. Even for the middle of April, it is not cold in Darebin tonight. So that will add some extra heat and take extra out of the legs as, well, Jarin rolls back for Araha, who's pressed by Huddart. She looked to clip down the line for Abdul Latif, but Wilbert was happy to see it out.
Yeah, there's a lot of moisture in the air, Ethan. It's going to be really hard on the breathing. I was talking to a few of the men's players who play in championship before. It's been a very tough day. It's been 31 degrees here in Melbourne today, so it's not going to be easy for these players to come in and try and run a full game with one sub, two subs.
And that's where those timeouts, even if it is just a couple of minutes without much of a setup change or just a different message in terms of how you'd look to play, all those minutes are important. As Wilbert skipping away, Hayek made a brilliant stop. And Carlton Hart, that is the best look they've had in this second half. Wilbert hit that with venom, and Lara El Hayek stuck her leg out and did well to make the save.
Very, very, very good save. Wilbert did well as well. She drew the player out to go to the pass and took the right option in the shot. Unfortunately, El Hayek bested her on this occasion.
Allerton. Abdul Latif returns it down the line. Trying to skip away beyond to Huddart, who's had a lovely game. That's a lovely ball to find Wilbert again, who's going alone, and this time drags her shot wide.
Bit selfish there. She had Anna DeWong on the back post, decided that she wanted to take the game on herself, but I think right there the better option was to give it to Anna early and then let her have the one-on-one with Lara.
DeWong had gallivanted forward and had a yard at the back stick. Even if not to have a one-on-one, just to try and tap one in first time. Drill it low. And those are the split-second moments for Hart. That as they are missed or are saved, their chances wilt away. It's Benedict, pressed by Araha. Wilbert.
She's been very good in the second half, Wilbert. Obviously, we criticised the decision, but overall, she's done really well to even put herself in those positions where she can make it. As we said, the Hart get away here and score a goal, and it makes it 2-1, and we have game on. I think Western were thinking they could escape this one pretty easily, but Hart do what Hart do and score a goal out of nothing, and brings it back to 2-1.
Hutto with a lovely finish. She's looked lively all evening. Been a thorn in Western United's side, and she has a goal, and Carlton Hart have a way back in. All of a sudden, the entire dynamic shifts. United, as Tyler had said, maybe wanting to play this game out coolly. Hart now might have the opportunity with Wilbert dancing beyond. Rolled it for Huddart again, and Al Hayek was off quickly and had to judge that to perfection. It's another crucial gather from Lara El Hayek.
Yeah, well, actually, Clarkson stopped that from being any danger. She put Wilbert, under a lot of pressure, had to force her to shoot on the left, allowed Al Hayek to come out and make that shot as we go 2-0 as the man, or the woman of the moment, I should say. Wilbert, she looked dangerous. has looked extremely dangerous, and she gets her goal for the night.
She's been threatening in this second half, had a couple of looks. As we talked about why maybe Hart hadn't used timeout, Western United saunter across to call one of their own. 2 quick goals in a matter of minutes have Hart right back in it.
But remember how I said I would have called the timeout if I was Hart when they went 2-0 down in a quick session? Western United obviously, okay, something's not going right here. Let's use our timeout. Let's refresh. Let's get our mindset back into a position where we can come back and win this game. And they'll use...
We will have a timeout for Western United, who have in a couple of minutes by 2 Carlton Hart forays forwards. They have come from 2 down to tie everything up. It may well and truly be a handstand finish at the timeout break. It is Western United 2, Carlton Hart 2.
Halo, salam olahraga untuk seluruh pencinta futsal di Indonesia. Kami dari Morlan Futsal Club dan Series Futsal akan mengadakan giveaway di mana akan dipilih 15 pemenang. Masing-masing pemenang akan mendapatkan 1 jersey.
Drama in Darabin as Western United return from a timeout, having been sitting pretty 2 up, now having to slow the momentum of Carlton Hart, who are breaking away with Huddart and Wilbert again, who took a touch wide. Now has Allerton to beat and runs out of room. But this game has sprung into life out of nowhere.
Yep.
Western United seemed in total control, Tyler, but 2 quick goals has everything turned on its head.
We said it in the first half, though. Hart have that capability of scoring. They're an X-Factor team. They score from out of nowhere. They've done it twice now. Western United now have to step up and take that extra step if they want to be a championship team.
Clarkson, Araha's ball cut out by Huddart, who can drive once more. Huddart has a go! And an opportunity which opened up to put Hart in front is dragged just wide.
Yeah, Clarkson again worked back hard. Araha turned the ball over there. They've seemed to do it a lot in the middle, but here we go, Araha.
It opens up for Araha this time to strike. Mossman claims calmly and distributes for Wilbert immediately, who's charging it down. Look for Huddart at the back post.
Right now, Hart looked way more dangerous to me, Ethan. I'm a bit concerned here for if I was a Western player, coach.
Golden opportunity as Allerton for Waljarin. What have United got now is the main question, instead of how will Hart find their way back into it. We have the answer to that. That's a lovely ball from Allerton. Clarkson took that down perfectly. Pantazopoulos, while Jarin trying to twist and turn her way out of a Carlton Hart puzzle. And you can feel, Tyler, momentum's a powerful thing. We mentioned how the many reasons teams would call timeout. To slow momentum, would that be one of them? Yeah,
well, that is part of it. So there's a lot of reasons you can call a timeout. The main ones are a tactical piece, change of strategy, and to stop momentum. So a lot of teams will call a timeout. Say if you're up by 5 goals and a team scores 3, well, something's not right. You've got to change it. So what you'll find is teams will call the timeout earlier on when they're shooting, if they feel a bit under pressure. A lot of the times teams switch off when they're winning. Like, game's done, cue in the rack, and that timeout kind of allows them to, okay, maybe game's not done. Let's refocus.
And you can feel that around this Western United side, who were rocked immediately after that outbreak, but have looked back in. Ball is found to Jarin, who took it down and immediately had it on the press. Jarin turned away from her, found Allerton, tried to clip one in towards Clarkson. And Benedek came away with it, as so often is the case. Wilbert returned to her. Now Duong. Hart more calculated as Benedek. That's a lovely bit of footwork, not just to skip by one, but then to keep it alive. And Duong instead runs out of room. But right now, there's a much more calculated and calm presence to the way the Heart are building up.
Yeah, sorry, just to interrupt you, Ethan. Foul given, side ball given to Western. The block on Tracy Clarkson from Benedict turns the ball over. Hart had a possession there, and they've just lost it because it's basically a little bit of inexperience.
Huddett's won it back, and Wilbert is gallivanting forward. Benedek. Duong. Huddett. Couldn't turn away beyond Abdul Latif. And right now, there are a matter of moments. We are inside the final few minutes.
Yeah, I think Western have their strongest side on it for this game at the moment, and I think Hart do as well. So it'll be interesting. You might find a late one here.
As Huddett had a chance, couldn't get the shot away immediately, got a heel on it on the slip. Al Hayek came to claim. She looked to roll it for Abdul Latif while Jerry mopped up. Wilbert in the way twice, comes away with it. It opens up for Wilbert, who had a go. And Al Hayek made the most important of saves.
Definitely her most important save of the night. And here would be the other reason to call a timeout, which will be a tactical play. So
we will see what tactical corner treats Hart are going to work up in this timeout break. On the other side of it, it is still 2 apiece.
Halo, salam olahraga untuk seluruh pencinta futsal di Indonesia. Kami dari Morlan Futsal Club dan Series Futsal akan mengadakan giveaway, di mana akan dipilih 15 pemenang. Masing-masing pemenang akan mendapatkan 1 jersey original dari Morlan Futsal Club. Syaratnya sangat gampang, langsung saja follow Instagram ini dan akan dipilih selama 5 hari ke depan. Jadi tunggu.
We are back from timeout once again. Could there be a dramatic finish here in Darebin? Carlton Hart have a corner, they have all the momentum, and they have Western United on the back foot. Duong to take, while Jarin got in the way. Huddett's trying to win it back. They're twisting and turning, and Hart will come away with it. But at the moment, you may sense that the next goal could be the winner. Huddett's corner. Benedek tried to turn away beyond Clarkson and did. And Allerton had to be in the way. It was a crucial block